Open Your Eyes is brought to you by the Belize Bank. Our country, your bank.
Good morning and welcome to Open Your Eyes.
Start your morning right.
I'm April Martinez.
And I'm Paul Lopez.
And good morning and thank you so much for having us in your home today.
Thursday, April.
Thursday, Friday, Junior.
Yes, Friday Junior. We love Thursdays in this place because we know it's nearing Friday. But there's also a lot to talk about, April.
Yeah.
A lot has been happening in the news. It feels like every day there's something and we don't necessarily get a break from it, but that's the industry we're in.
I was just telling you, I don't know how you're a reporter.
Yeah.
I don't know how you accumulate so much information and then try to concise it in 10 minutes of reporting on the news. I don't know
people
how.
really don't understand how much work it takes to gather information and really concise or condense all of that into a palatable amount so that people wouldn't get tired of listening to information or bored of it. But that's the job we have.
Yeah.
That's the responsibility we have in the sense we're technically gatekeepers of information and we disseminate that to the public. But yesterday, as I understand it, a human rights report was released.
Dwayne covered that.
Dwayne did an entire coverage of that. Some glaring information coming out, but I'll say first and foremost that most of what was said isn't necessarily new information.
No, but I
to
think
Belizeans.
I agree with you, but also it's not new to those that pay attention. It's not new to those that actually keep up with this kind of information, not just Belize news, but world news in general. So that's not new information.
Yeah.
This is, however, new information to maybe those of you that don't know the law that well and you don't know your rights as a civilian, your do's and your don'ts, the things that probably authorities should not be able to do to you. People in certain institutions should not be allowed to do. You know how you know your labor rights? It's the same way you're supposed to know your human rights.
So this document was published by the United States, and it speaks to the human rights situation here in Belize. If it's one thing we hear Belizeans cry, complain about often, it's the human rights situation or human rights violation in Belize. So they brought up in the report, they brought up the case of BDF soldier Jesse Escobar, who was shot on September 5th, 2021. That's a story we're familiar with. They also raised the issue of Laddie Gillett.
Yeah.
We know of that case all too well. That case that at the time brought anger across the nation. So they brought up that issue as well. One of the interesting things they noted is that in the year covered, 25% of the complaints to the ombudsman were police brutality complaints or complaints against the police department.
Yeah.
In fact, by the August, over 150, if I remember correctly, complaints were against the police department.
Yeah.
And so when we think about human rights issues in Belize, and we think about the human rights violations in Belize, the police department and the police force is at the center of what this report describes as a certain human rights violation. We even see it happening in the prison, where reports are coming out of the prison of human rights violations.
Yes.
So law enforcement, I know that when the current minister, Kari Musa, came in office, this is one of the issues that he championed in terms of lessening or decreasing these incidents of human rights violation. The report speaks also to what the minister and the commissioner had told the media, the fact that several police officers have already been dismissed. The report speaks to that, the fact that officers are being dismissed. But none of this speaks well to
No.
Belize and human rights case.
But you know, I like that you brought that up, because a few weeks ago we had the member of the Caribbean Court of Justice here talking to us about due diligence, what happens in the judicial system, and what we should try to implement in our own judicial system. And you know, one of the things that we as civilians, as the general public, we don't do is we don't hold accountability. You know, yes, we should suspend police officers. Yes, they deserve to probably not have that position if they're going to abuse it. But a suspension with pay, to me, that's not enough.
Yeah.
A suspension is not enough. You know, you need to hold them accountable. There has to be some level of consequence. And for you as the civilian to make sure that there is accountability and consequence, you have to know your constitution, you have to know your human rights, you have to know the law.
Yeah.
And that is something that I fear we as a general public we're lacking.
Well,
so like you said, it's supposed to be common knowledge, right? But the fact that you only have one person, I still see people posting about Lade, I still see people posting about Escobar, but we've moved on.
Yeah.
Right. And we talked about 150 reports. I am wondering how many were not reported. Right. That number to me is low, based on the encounters that we see in the public on a day-to-day basis. So I like this piece. I think that if you haven't seen the report issued by the United States, I know that Channel 5 did a coverage, but I also know that it is online, and it should be available on the United Nations website. So you should be able to go and download and see it.
What's interesting to me, the report also speaks to the state of emergencies that were imposed, particularly on certain Southside communities, Southside areas, excuse me. And it's interesting that they would cite some of these encounters with police and gang members as human rights violations, because when we think about gang members, or at least purported gang members, we think, oh, they deserve what they get.
Yeah.
Whatever they get, lock them down, broke in the door, rough them up how you feel like. Well,
that's against your human rights.
It's clear, it's obvious that they as human beings have rights as well. And we don't necessarily take that into consideration often, and perhaps it's a culture that we have, and a culture that seeps even into the work and behavior of law enforcement officers when they go and deal with what we consider criminal elements. This no mercy, no pity kind of approach. But what it does at that point is it creates some sort of black eye for Belize in terms of our human rights violation. So where does the balance come in? Like how does our law enforcement officers strike a balance in dealing with criminals, in dealing with known gang affiliates, but at the same time ensuring that their human rights, that their rights aren't violated in the process?
Right. I completely agree with you in a lot of manners, and I feel like it's not just the way we train our officers, but it's our Belizean culture in general, that macho persona that in order to execute some level of power, some level of authority, you have to act in an aggressive manner, you have to act in a certain way, puff your chest out and you know, hold your fists and this is how I execute, that I am in control and I have power over you. That is our culture in Belize. That is our culture that is our male culture in Belize. And I know we're slowly trying to to break away from that. But it hasn't moved from certain places, and it hasn't moved from certain institutions. It definitely has not moved from law enforcement and people that have power. When you put on that uniform as a police officer, you are already executing a level of power and authority, and you don't need to. If you are arresting somebody, they're already going with you willingly. There is no need for you to hit them anymore.
Yeah.
There's no need for you to point
Yeah.
in their face. There's
Yeah.
no need for you to speak to them in an aggressive manner. They're already going with you willingly.
Yeah.
And we haven't broken away from that kind of
But
behavior as yet.
I would go even farther to say, and I must say that I'm not a police officer, and I've never been placed in a position where I have to necessarily detain somebody that's acting out. I have siblings, and being the elder of the siblings, there are times when perhaps one of my younger siblings would act out, and I would have to kind of arrest the situation in a sense. And I know that's not an easy task, but I remember in a conversation that Brighton and John had with attorney at law Leslie Mendes right here on this set. One of the things that stood out to me in that conversation was her saying that police must learn to respond professionally even in cases when civilians are acting boisterously. So if you are acting out as a civilian, even as an officer, you mustn't allow yourself to become overwhelmed by the situation. You have mentally challenged people you have to deal with. That's one thing. People, and when we say mentally challenged, we not only talk about quote unquote crazy people per se, but we talk about people who perhaps just have a hard day, and they call police upon them.
I'll go a step further, because we had that situation where the young man was shot with the rubber bullets countless times, even though the police officers were given an order. They did not follow orders, and they continuously shot bullets in places that they were not supposed to shoot, and then completely put that person in the hospital. That kind of abuse of power or fear of the situation tells me that we have a long way to go when it comes to training our people in authority. Personally, 6 months in the academy to me is a short time. You're defending. You're not defending, you're protecting your domestic place. You are protecting the people that are within that domestic place. That is your job as law enforcement. It's not your job to hurt the people that you're supposed to protect, but that's just my 2 cents.
Yeah, and then another interesting point raised in the report, once again, is the restrictions that we faced as a result of COVID-19, restriction of movement, some of the religious freedoms that were restricted as well. You remember church services were cut down, sometimes restricted to having no church service. There were some immigration issues in terms of border and traveling. So they raised these issues as well. So, and it's interesting because we oftentimes in public discourse, social media, Facebook, you would hear people say, oh, this is a violation of my human rights. And we know the law provides for cases where in terms of protecting the nation as a whole, these laws could have been implemented. So the thing is here is to understand that the report that comes out, that this report, while in fact it does highlight a lot of issues, it's really, in my view, the U.S. taking stock of all that's happening in Belize and putting it together in one report. And so it's an interesting report. Like you said, there are several places you can find it online if you so choose to look into that.
I know, and when we're talking about human rights and we're talking about all of these laws and implementation of the laws, we have to talk about the elephant in the room. And you know, as that's the biggest story that is going on right now. And of course, we all know that the senior diplomat, Alexis Rosado, was charged with sexual offenses. Well, apparently these offenses were, these allegations came out from last year, and he finally went to the magistrate court yesterday.
Yeah,
In Belmopan.
Belmopan.
You know, I don't know how to address this. As a person that is in a high position, a person that is in, you know, has defended us in the ICJ. You know, he was the leading champion in that entire referendum, and so forth. It's very difficult to speak about him in this light, but you know what? We are human beings and we all have our demons, right? The alleged case against him is from anonymous person who claims that from she was about the age of 13, he was molesting her, and up until the age of 27.
I think first, and you rightfully mentioned, must be emphasized that these are allegations being made. Law provides that you're innocent until proven guilty. Notwithstanding that, there must be some sort of evidence to substantiate such a claim, whether by, in this case, I would presume, a report made. We haven't been able to get our hands on that report as yet, though requests have been made by persons within the media asking police to, the authorities to release the report, which should be public information in terms of who made the report and what did the report actually say. But we've been able to get some insight into at least what investigators understand at this time, which is a case of rape. He was charged with 2 counts of rape and a case of assault, which again he had several counts of assault charges levied against him in this allegation. It's an interesting situation, April, in that this is a senior diplomat. His face, his name is known across the country, across the world. But in Belize, we got familiar with Mr. Rosado during the whole ICJ debacle in terms of the referendum. He was one of the faces in educating the Belizean population as to what the referendum means, as to what the ICJ case and the dispute is at this time.
You know, we're talking a lot about him as you know, being somebody of substantial titles and so forth. And as of yesterday, we understand that he relinquished all titles. But I really would love to talk about the person that made the case, the victim in question. Yeah. I understand that, you know, as a woman, I have to say that it's never easy, especially with somebody in power, to come out and talk about something like this. You know, I see so much buzz on the media about, oh, why now? Why she wait till now? Why
see the victim
you know,
blaming.
and I'm like, do you know how much shame that is for even if it's like your uncle or your friend or somebody that you trust and know, to come out and speak against something like this, let alone somebody that has so much power. You know how that will look on you as it doesn't matter if you're a woman, you are making a case against a powerhouse. That is not a difficult task. And so whatever it's not an easy task, thank you. So, you know, whatever I guess we're going to be following this case very closely, but just so everybody is aware, we don't have all the details yet, but let's try our best to be open-minded about what comes out.
I just say we have a conversation in our first segment, just which will touch on some of the physical and mental effects of this form of abuse, and so that's something we'll be discussing. But I do want to just highlight in closing this conversation that we see the victim blaming taking place, and it irks me to my core to see that the victim, the young lady who has decided to come out after almost a decade, just to see her name, or at least her reputation, we don't know who she is, being tarnished. I would imagine it's not an easy road for her at this time, and I would wish that Belizeans would take some time to just empathize and show some sympathy for this young lady, regardless of what her situation is, regardless of what the background story was. At the end of the day, she is a victim, alleged victim, but we must view it for what it is at this time.
You know, at the end of the day, we're all humans trying to live our lives in this world, and so I hope that whatever the outcome, that we're able to cover it with actual facts, an open mind, and you know what? Let's hope that everybody sees their day the way they should. And with that, we have to get moving into our show for this morning. And of course, we hope that we're going to bring you some motivation this early, bright Thursday morning. And our eye opener for this morning is taken from dailyom.com, and it goes like this. When we stop worrying about unimportant matters, we can devote so much more of ourselves to what is truly important. We experience numerous disappointments each and every day. Our expectations go unmet, our plans are blocked by circumstance, our wishes go unfulfilled, and we discover that our lives are subject to a myriad of forces beyond our conscious control. In some cases, our response is powerful because we must invest ourselves and our resources to overcome genuine hardship. In others, our reactions are far more passionate than our circumstances likely warrant. When we stop worrying about relatively unimportant matters, we can be at peace and devote so much more of ourselves to what is truly important. Ask yourself whether the emotions you are feeling will be as vivid in a year, a day, or even an hour. As focused as you are on this moment in time, the reward of letting go of your emotional investment may be the very happiness and harmony of being whose loss you are lamenting. You cannot distance yourself from life's inconsistencies, irritations, and upheavals, but you can relinquish your desire for perfect order and gain peace of mind in the process.
Love this. I think we could all use a bit of this motivation. This morning, I was having a discussion just last night with a colleague of mine. But you ever work with people whose attitude or towards the job isn't necessarily up to par with what you would want of them, and they come and they create some sort of chaos in your life or in a situation, and not necessarily intentionally, sometimes intentionally, but you feel thrown off by their attitude and their approach. I've had situations like that where I've had to sit back and assess the situation and say, is this really worth me losing my peace over? You know? Sometimes it's about, all right, let's just get the job done and
figure it out.
And we'll figure it out. But is it really me worth losing peace for the entire day and being thrown off for the entire day? And many of the times I say, no, it's not. It's not. Your attitude, your behavior, people's behavior, I've come to terms with the fact that I will not allow people's behavior to determine my mood for the
Yeah.
day or determine my attitude for the day and take away from my peace.
I like that. I also think that, just to add a little bit more, the pressure that we have as a working society also would cause that kind of reaction. For example, if you have deadlines that you have to meet and your computer not at work, you know, that's not something that you can control. You
Right.
have to just try your best to control your attitude,
Right.
your behavior,
Right.
because 1 minute will seem like a very long time if you are upset. 1 minute, we're going on forever if your
Yeah.
computer not command the way, or if you freeze, or if you, you know, there's a lot of things that are out of our control. So your attitude towards others and towards circumstances can be the difference between what makes and breaks your day.
Indeed.
I like that. But moving on, we have our weather forecast for this morning, and we have the folks from the National Meteorological Service of Belize ready to give us the weather for this morning.
Do we have them online?
Do we have them online? No, we don't. Okay. So I am going to read our general weather forecast for this
Forecaster April Martinez.
forecaster April Martinez. All right. Okay.
There we
No,
go.
Francisca is on the
Saving
line.
the day.
Man, she saved me. I never may be a weather person. Good morning, Miss Francisca.
Good morning.
How are
April.
Good
you?
morning.
Hello?
Hello,
Yes.
how are you?
I'm doing good. How about you guys?
You nearly
We're
make I
doing
have to
fine.
read the weather this morning. I don't think I
Why?
may do a good job. All right. Well, Francisca Wellington is on the line with us. Can you tell us our general situation for today?
Okay, so we're having a northeasterly airflow, and that's dominating the weather. It will have significant effect on us shortly.
Okay. Oh no. Okay. I think I'm gonna feel it this morning. I'm gonna
Yeah.
drive. And and the winds.
Okay, so winds will be out of the east and northeast, 5 to 50 knots, and that will produce choppy seas, 3 to 5 feet waves beyond the reef.
Okay. And the 24-hour forecast.
So we'll see sunny skies today. We'll see cloudy spells as well. Tonight we'll see partly cloudy skies, and we're seeing isolated showers today,
Oh.
and that will be across the country.
I guess
Already
will
happening.
that will affect the temperatures.
Okay, so we'll be seeing temperatures rising to 87 Fahrenheit along the coast this afternoon, 81 up in the Maya Mountains, and 93 inland. And then overnight, 78 along the coast, 70 inland, and 64 up in the Maya Mountains.
And the outlook for Friday.
Okay, that's what I was talking about. So
Yeah.
come Friday and Friday night, we'll see an increase in moisture over us. Therefore, we'll see an increase in shower activity along with isolated thunderstorms, especially along coastal areas.
Oh no. So that means the hot weather they go a little bit.
I wouldn't say that because, you know, when heat and water mixes, what happens?
Yeah. Man. It's gonna rain for a little while, and then it get hot again, and then that
Get
that
sticky.
humidity
Right.
all over again. Are there
That's
any
right.
warnings?
Say again?
Are there any warnings for us?
Okay, the only thing I have for today is, well, we've been saying this a long time, that sargassum mats will continue to
Yeah.
affect beaches. Okay, and then also the fire forecast, the fire risk for today is high. Will decrease tomorrow with the increase in shower activity.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Francisca, for that weather report. And please try your best to have a safe and, cool day.
Thank you, guys, and same to
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you. Bye.
All right.
Okay, sure.
So April, we're seeing a bit of
Changes in the weather, yes.
After the long, hot Easter weekend leading into the week after, I'm sure there won't be much complaints except for people who have to wash their clothes and pin it up on the line like me.
Oh, well, I always say that everybody complain about the weather. When it's hot, it's so hot. when it rainy, to rainy, and it wet, and it cold when it cold. You know, we can never be satisfied, but that's okay. We just have to deal with the weather.
Part of the coffee culture.
We are, and that's fine. But moving on, we have to talk a little bit about what we have this morning.
Yeah.
We have 3 lovely conversations for you all this morning. As Paul had mentioned, we will be having somebody that talks about psychological effects and trauma of child and sexual abuse. We will be having a representative from the Productive Organization for Women in Action, POWA. POWA will be talking to us about understanding those psychological effects. That's our first conversation.
That's definitely a conversation you don't want to miss. And feel free to engage us on our social media. Add to the conversation.
Yes.
Feel free to do just that. And sometimes we even look and take questions from there. So feel free to do that. In our second conversation, we'll have the folks from Ahmadiyya Basketball League, Belize. And they'll be talking about their all-star basketball competition and mental health awareness program. So if you're into basketball, you know that the all-star competitions is some of the bigger competitions where you get to see people that don't normally play basketball or don't participate in these competitions. You get to see them participate in one-day matches and one-day tournaments. So sometimes it's the mayor, it's your counselors, it's people you're very familiar with, all-stars, celebrities. And so we have a celebrity match to talk about.
Oh, I like that. That'll be fun to watch, yes. And then our final segment for this morning, you like Indian food?
Listen, this is my favorite Indian restaurant.
Really?
And my favorite Indian chef.
Okay.
Bar none, by far. So I'm looking forward to
All right.
this.
Well, just to give you a little sneak peek, we'll have Chef Shekhar in with us in studio this morning to teach us how to prepare a typical Indian lunch. And I guess Paul, I eat lunch for breakfast this morning.
This is my guy. I love him. And so this is our third conversation. You don't want to miss that.
Of course, yes. And but before we get into our show, we have our first break, and when we get back, POWA is in the house.
POWA.
Hola usuario de eCash, la aplicación eCash está disponible en español. Cambiar el idioma de tu aplicación de eCash de inglés a español es rápido y sencillo. Déjame mostrarte cómo se hace. Primero, abre tu aplicación eCash. Introduce tu PIN. Toca el icono More en la parte inferior de tu pantalla. Selecciona Security. Selecciona Language. Y luego selecciona Spanish. Vuelve a introducir tu PIN y ya está. Tu aplicación de eCash está ahora en español y puedes seguir disfrutando de tu cartera digital eCash. La aplicación eCash de Belize Bank te hace la vida más fácil.
Download the SmartStream app on the Android Play Store and create your account to get access to movies and stream at home or on the go. Prepaid customers can purchase regular data packages or get a discounted rate on a special SmartStream package by dialing 7737. Postpaid customers will be billed monthly. Never miss a movie again with SmartStream.
Applying for a Social Security sickness benefit? Here's what you need to know. A complete claims package include 1. Sickness claim form fully completed by the claimant and medical doctor. 2. Salaries record form completed by the employer or HR representative. 3. Proof of bank account such as bank book, online banking, or statement displaying your name and account number. To submit via email, you need to take a clear photo or scan of the documents and email to claims@socialsecurity.org.bz. Be sure to include your full name, social security number, and benefit type in the subject line of the email. Or you can drop off all completed forms into the Dropbox slot at the nearest branch office. Deadline to submit is 14 days from your first day of illness. All forms are available on the website at www.ssecurity.org.bz. www.socialsecurity.org.bz. Social Security Board, safeguarding you, your family, your future.
Dwayne Moody, Isani Cayetano, Marian Ali, Paul Lopez. Your News 5 police teams do whatever it takes, go wherever they need to go, so you can catch the story wherever you are, whenever you want, on whatever device. Channel 5 believes on television, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, because news is now everywhere, all the time, and so are we.
Whether you're at home, on the road, at work, or at school, if you see news happening or suspect that something might be up, call or text the Channel 5 News Belize tip line at 672-5555. You don't have to give us your name, just give us the tip. That's 672-5555. Call or text us so we can check it out.
When someone you love becomes a memory, the memory becomes a treasure. Channel 5 introduces the Daily Obituaries. The Daily Obituaries will broadcast all death and funeral announcements and memorials to honor your loved one's life and memories. The Daily Obituaries airs on Channel 5 prior to the evening newscast, with subsequent repeats at 10 p.m. and 12 noon the following day. It will also be placed online on our social media platforms, all for a standard package fee. Celebrate their lives and memories with Channel 5's Daily Obituaries. Honor in life and reverence in death.
And we are back, and we have our first segment discussing with Ms. Michelle Irving. She is from the Productive Organization for Women in Action, POWA. And she's here to talk to us via Zoom about the psychological effects on the victims of abuse. So that's kind of going to be the main focus of our conversation for this morning. Good morning, Michelle. Thank you so much for being here with us and having this very sensitive conversation.
Thank you very much for having me. It is my pleasure to be here to amplify the voices of sometimes a very taboo issue, and could be very difficult for the society to understand and to to ensure that we offer maximum support and protection for those who may be the victims of some of the issues that we're talking about, especially child sexual exploitation and other forms of gender-based violence. Okay. I'm hoping to take the conversation today from a sociocultural perspective as an advocate who have been working in the fields for over 30 years. And working with persons who have been both victims and survivors of this type of abuse. I think that it's from that lens I want to be able to look through today.
Okay. If you would, I think it's perhaps an obvious question, but let me ask, why is it important that we have these types of discussion and kind of tease or charge our brains to understand these topics?
I think because of the massive effect that it has on our society, I feel that our job in terms of human development, social development, nation building, I think it's important for us to be able to look through all different lenses. A lot of times when we're talking about nation building, for example, our emphasis on maybe economic production. Right. Just as an example, but we have to see then what are some of the causes, what are some of the underlying trauma that may prevent people from being able to maximize their potential and their abilities. And so these lifelong traumas, sometimes intergenerational traumas, can affect everything that we do. So that is why it is important. A lot of times, as we continue to grow and to develop as a society, both as if we look at ourselves as a part of the global landscape, we also see where these issues have now been discussed and brought to the fore in other quote unquote developed countries. And so I think that those are some of the probably driving factors that we are seeing what is happening on the global scale. And we are now being able, especially as women and girls, are now being able to challenge power, and to speak truth to power, regardless of what may be some of the very negative backlash that will come upon us. And so as an organization, as a women's group that speaks to look at gender equity and equality to support that process, that speak to look at the elimination of this, the discrimination of all forms of violence against women, which is from the UN Treaty Convention, CEDAW, of which Belize has ratified. And for us to look at, as a group, we also look at other vulnerabilities that may be further heightened by some of these experiences, especially childhood sexual exploitation and any form of abuse that continue to exist. So you also have issues of HIV, STIs, other physical manifestations of trauma that causes people not to be able to really live their best possible lives. And I think, or I know our mandate is to be able to give people the best chance that they deserve. It's a part of their human rights and a part of their human dignity to have a society that supports you and protects you.
Why do you think that, just based on probably observation of society and culture, but what do you think is the problem in our society that we don't want to talk about these issues? We know that it's happening. We probably witness it every day. We know somebody that is going through it, but we don't want to have this conversation.
I think we have to always look at the history of who we are. I mean, I think Marcus Garvey says that people without roots, which roots is your history, it's like a tree that will surely perish. I think that we have to understand that we live in a society that really have an unequal view of gender. And so the value that is placed on boys are different from those that are placed on girls. And a lot of times, the values that are placed on boys are the ones, the decision makers. They take whatever you want. There is no consequences for your actions, and you are the power broker. And the values that are placed on girls is that they should listen to what men are saying, boys are saying, and they should be accepting of whatever they're offering. And so you have to understand that these are some social conditionings, and sometimes in some cultures it's far more rooted in than others, meaning that there's absolutely no discussion on sex. There's absolutely no discussion on any kind of violation, any kind of abuse, because that limits your awareness. You don't know that is what is happening to you. You feel that is the norm. That should happen because you're a woman and this is what you were born for. And so there is no talk about, for example, age of consent. There's no talk about sexual consent. There's no talk about marriage in terms of consent. We still have in Belize, for example, you could be married at the age of 16 if your parents sign, and we still see adults being 18. So you can't vote, but you could marry. You can't drink, but you could marry, and you could have sex. And so these are some of the these are some of the concerning factors that are affecting us. Because, for example, right now I'm talking about some of the social cultural effects. We at Power, we're doing a research that we are going into communities and talking to women, for example, who has been married as a child, and so or living with a partner since before the age of 18. So many of them have been 13, 14, 15. And even when we're talking to women who are now 55, 35, 29, the effects are so traumatic. Their lives have been virtually straitjacketed into situations that they have absolutely no control of, because they are at that particular age. They're stuck as a 13-year-old. So now they're 50, but everything that has been stripped of them at the age of 13 is, they have not been able to grow and develop.
I don't mean to cut you off, but you're talking about this research. You're going into these communities. You're talking to these women. What is that approach like? How do you approach this situation? How do you approach these women, and what are the responses that you receive in terms of emotional response or accepting of what it is that you are bringing to them? Talk to us a little bit about that approach.
Right. I think what happened is that you have to kind of understand the context, because we're a community organization. We have been in the communities, deep into the communities, into rural communities, underserved communities, bringing service information. Like for the past year, through the Spotlight program, we have been going in there with partners and giving psychosocial support information. So in some ways, these community contacts have been supported, the foundation have been built, so to speak. And so it's along the continuum of that kind of work that we are, continuing the research. It's a well-structured research, so there's every space for professional therapists to be engaged, to have support groups that ensure the psychological wellness, or to limit or to support the trauma that victims have been living with all these years, and to then continue the path to becoming a survivor, to be able to turn that curve.
Ms. Irving, if you would help us a bit to define child sexual abuse. What can you tell us about that?
Okay, well, I can tell you that the legal age for consent to have sex is 16 in Belize. So if you are not at that age, you cannot give consent. Now, some people will say, well, she may have, she want it, she dress up in a short pants, she put on body blouse, she walk through the street in a bathing suit. Yeah. You will hear all sorts of, in some ways, victim blaming.
Yes. Right.
And because even if that is so, that is that person's right, and that person shouldn't be exploited. It should be maybe supported, understanding what is going on with this child, because this is a child. Belize is also a signature to the Convention on the Rights of the Child, and that convention defines the child as from age 0 to 18. That's a child, right? So no, this sexual exploitation is when someone who is usually an adult, but sometimes even a little bit older than that child, or maybe not an adult, let's say a 17-year-old, but older, have sexual relations with the child, right? So that child is not able to give consent to sex. And so we have to understand consent. Consent is that you are responsible for your body, and you are responsible for what happens to your body. So you could give consent, but based on the fact that if you're a child, you cannot give consent. I'll just maybe take an example.
Go ahead.
You have a child, and you are the parent of this child.
Yeah.
And this child says, when I get up for breakfast, I will eat jelly beans, For lunch, I'll have more jelly beans. For
Yeah.
dinner, I'll have more jelly beans. And for the whole month, I'm on a jelly bean diet. Now, everybody know that that child cannot give consent to their nutrition. They don't have the mental capacity to understand what is going on, what will happen to them if they consume so much sugar. So now the parent has to step in and say, we have to limit this jelly bean. This is where adults step in. Now, take sex. The child is 13. The child is 14. The child might even be coming into their sexual life and maybe have questions, maybe feel attracted, maybe display certain behaviors that seems that, they are willing and ready to engage in sex, but it's the same thing with the jelly bean. This will not work for this child. This will be very damaging to this child. You understand me? So any adult who is around, whose job it is to protect and guard and support a child, then supposed to say, no, this shouldn't happen. This is not right. This is done right. This shouldn't happen. But when we talk about gender-based violence and we talk about the social conditioning where one group thinks that they can take whatever they want from another group, then they go ahead and they take those liberties because they figure that I can have this child. What will stop me? No adult is around to protect the child, or I will threaten the child. I will tell them, I will kill your ma, I will hurt your pa, I will. And sometimes just by the very nature of how the relationship is, the child, maybe the person is a financial supporter, the family is very poor, for example, and the child knows that they're helping with going to school or helping the family with food. And so the child is then either outwardly given or made to feel that this is something that she has to do or he has to do. Because you have to remember, when we're talking about child sexual exploitation, it's not only about women and girls, but it's also about men and boys sometimes too. Many men are boys are victims of sexual abuse as well in many different forms, And so,
Ms. Irving, let me just jump in there to ask a follow-up question. I would imagine the conversation between adult and child, parent and child, is a very difficult one to have in these situations, and sometimes parents or adults may not know how to navigate these situations. And I would imagine in certain cases, if an adult is aware, the adult might just say, all right, if you're to do it, make sure you practice safe sex. In terms of that's the extent
it goes back to the question as to why is it that we have a problem talking about these sorts of situations? Why is it that we have a problem talking about sex? Why is it that we can't, even in school? I don't know about you, but education about sex was very, very limited for me in school. So why is it that in our society it is taboo to talk about sex? It is taboo to talk about sexual abuse and to talk about consent.
Okay. We will look at the agents of socialization in our society. We have first the family, we have the society, we have education, we have religion, and we have the media as some of the major sources of socialization. This is how our society is kind of told how to behave, what to believe, everything like that. Now we know, especially our education is tied to a church-state system where religion is pretty much control what is said about a lot of these issues. So we have a lot of pushback, for example, to teach about sex, to learn about sex, to talk about sex. And we have a lot of people who are victims of child sexual abuse, who are now adults and who are working in some of these very systems and have not addressed their trauma. And when you have not addressed your trauma and you're a victim of any type of abuse, you tend to be in denial about what is going on and how you could then further talk, because you know that it will bring up pain in you. So if you're a teacher, for example, you will find it difficult to address these issues because it will bring you back to your pain. And your pain is so heavy, so big, you can't deal with that because you know that it will cause you to break down.
And you may
know
have
that
not
you're
even dealt with that
trauma.
and you
yourself.
have not exactly. And so sometimes people are not even aware, but they know that there's a pin somewhere. And when that pin is open, it's like a grenade, right? It will explode. So they prefer to keep it under tight wraps. And so we find it very difficult to deal with a church system who many times they only, let's say for example, if we're talking about even the issue of HIV, the only thing is, well, you should abstain from sex. Well, you could be telling a 13-year-old abstain from sex, but the person is being abused. No. So they don't have the ability to abstain from sex. So imagine being in a class, maybe a standard 6 class, and you're having conversation, but all it is saying to you, you should abstain. Now, you know that someone is having sex with you, and they're telling you you should abstain. Imagine how much more traumatic that is, because now you will have even more guilt that, you know, I am not abstaining, this is not happening, this is not my reality. So it must be something that is wrong with me. All right, why this is happening to me? So that further, and so these are the conversations we must have. And so it further sinks the conversation underground. It sinks the victims farther away from support and services. We don't have a supportive environment. So if you are being abused at home, and you go to school and you hear some of these same victim blaming messages, where will you go to for help as a child? I'm talking about.
Where will you go to for Ms. Irving, not to cut you, but it's a good point you brought up. I wanted to ask then, as an adult, as a guardian, how is it that you navigate such a conversation? What do you encourage? How do you encourage someone to when they seek to navigate such a conversation, but perhaps if they understand the effects of this on the child, they may be more encouraged they're more prompted to have this conversation. So perhaps the question is, what are some of the psychological effects on a child that is a victim of sexual abuse?
A lot of times the psychological effect is that the child would withdraw. You'll find out that maybe if they were a good student, you'll find out that a lot of times they are not performing up to par. Sometimes some victims are very good at covering what is happening to them. They can mask, they put on a mask. And a lot of times parents are not so aware of why the child is maybe staying out of the house more or staying in the house more. For example, not being their usual self. I mean, most parents would know their child, so they know if they're chatty, if they're quiet, but sometimes you see, sometimes there is the issue of cutting in terms of harming, self-harm, we call it, because of the psychological trauma, the victim or the child wants to create a physical ease, and so the physical ease is what we consider painful, but imagine the psychological pain is far more intense. And sometimes we have thoughts of suicide, sometimes suicide attempts that happen. And all of these things are taboo because we keep everything under wraps so as to give the impression out there that we have a perfect family. But the thing I want to say is there are some help available. You can talk to you could go to the Ministry of Human Development, seek information. People could just seek information, say, I just can't find out how to talk to my child about abuse, or do you have any pamphlet that I can read? Do you have any sessions that I can attend? When there are sessions on gender-based violence, when there are sessions, community sessions that are happening, some of the work that POWER is doing, some of the work Ministry of Human Development is doing, and other partners are doing throughout the country. Take advantage of those outreaches and go talk to people, find out, just find out, even if you don't even have a child yet, find out what that means. How do you read the warning signs? How do you seek support? How do you seek help? And how to talk to your children about sex, about abuse, about good touch, bad touch from an early age, so that they are aware. Children are very smart. They're able to discern a lot of things more than we think as adults. And so I think that it is our duty, it is our responsibility. And I am also calling on some of those agents of socialization to ensure that the conversation continues. A lot of times this may not be the most popular conversation, so they tune out because it causes some people who
discomfort.
have had discomfort. Just was going to say, even if you have been living in a family with domestic violence and you have had all the shouting and screaming and abusive behavior, and so it's very difficult for you to then listen to. And then, so that's how the trauma also intergenerational, because it's hard for you as the victim, whatever type of victim. It may not be sexual exploitation. It could be just being in a house of domestic violence. So it's important for us to address all forms of gender-based violence, including domestic violence, because what that does is it creates an atmosphere of trauma and abuse that is a fuel for other types of abuse. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So if you have the family that is going through this and somebody is perpetrating, I mean, even in your neighborhood, if you hear the screams of someone beating someone else, and imagine if you are traumatized from across the road, imagine how the child may feel in that household. You understand?
What's the not to cut you, but what's the frequency of child sexual abuse within households in Belize, in terms of a family member abusing a child, an uncle, an older cousin, even a dad? Is there data on that?
Well, that's a very good question. I think the way how I will answer that is that in Belize, we're still struggling a lot with data for us to be able, but there are some data because whenever there is a report made to the police, for example, or a report made to the Ministry of Human Development, for example, or to go through the hospitals or any of the agents that will accept reports, the question will always be, well, who did this to you? So you will know that if it's, if it's an uncle, a grandfather, a stepfather, a brother, a neighbor, you understand me? So yes. I guess then you would correlate that to find out. But I would say that our data source is not probably the best. And even if you try to find that information, I know that you will run into a bit of challenge. Okay. But there would be some information on, like, for example, maybe the police. There are a few places that can say that to you. But I think that is also a very good question. I think that we should be looking at annual reports, public annual reports of what is happening. And then we also have to be able to understand that maybe for each victim that comes forward, there's 10 others that are silent. So when we see one, we times that by 10. There is some formulaic way how people that does this research that look for prevalence, for example, can extrapolate that data. I mean, and so those are some work that still needs to be done, in terms of our country, because now I think what is happening now, the conversation is opening up quite, I might say, because of some of the persons who are accused of being the violators. And so it is becoming that we're seeing public figures, people in very powerful positions that are being accused of some of these issues of gender-based violence. And so the public may be a bit more, coming a bit more aware, but
Right.
it comes with two sides. You come with also the side of victim blaming, because people will say, for example, well, he got money, he look
Right.
good. Why would he want to have sex with a 13-year-old? Or why would he could get any girl where he wants? You have to understand that when we're talking about abuse and exploitation, it's not about getting consent. It's about taking what you want. So you are saying some of those things in the frame of giving consent, but this is not the case. An abuser is about power and control, and they definitely don't want consent. They just feel that I have the power and I can do whatever I want to do. And the power doesn't only mean people that have stature or rich or whatever, but the person has control over the victim.
Yeah.
So the person could not have 2 cents to rub together in their pocket,
Yeah.
but they have control over that victim,
Yeah.
and they uses that control to assert their position over that person. You
Yeah,
see?
this conversation, I think we need to bring you back for another, for a part 2 of this conversation, because we are completely out of time. But just for the clarification for our audience, tell us what POA is and how they can contact you if they would like to be a part of your organization.
Okay, POWER is an organization that's a women's group. We believe in the feminist principles of gender equity and equality, that both men and women should be of equal value and should be treated as such, as it relates to the laws, as it relates to all the agents of socialization. And whenever there is any form of inequality, it is our responsibility to point it out, and for us to be able to move forward on a platform of justice and rights for everyone that is living within the borders of Belize and even beyond. So we have a Facebook page, POAA. You can message us from through there. We also, and on the Facebook page, you will find our contact information that you can be in touch with us. And so we could, and whatever part of the country you are, we will link you to other resources that are in your area, or also, give referral, and where possible can give support. Because we work with a lot of the UN agencies. We do psychosocial support. We have access to therapists and to, where there is some form of group or support that is needed. So, or link you with another organization in your area that can point you to some of these necessary support that you may need. Even if you need to be able to talk to your family, if you're a parent or guardian, if you're suspecting something, if you're seeing some signs, if you find yourself unable to on your own protect your children, then seek help. Even before something happens, seek help, because it is our responsibility to ensure that our boys and our girls get the best possible chance, and that we give them maximum protection. And so reach out for help. Don't be afraid. A good sign of being assertive and being in control of your life is to ask for help.
Right.
Some people find it difficult, but that is, when you ask for help, you're empowering yourself and you're empowering others.
Wow.
So it is important for us to, one, don't blame the victim. That's the victim. If you don't have any supportive things to say to or about the victim, shut up your mouth, like what we must say. If you don't have nothing good for say, no say nothing. Because you are not aware of the situation. You are not aware of all of the dynamics. You are making a judgment that you have no right to make. So you just look and you say, well, you could offer support. If you can't, then forget about it. Just relax, right?
All right.
And so seek help. Go to the different agencies that are available in your community, and let's continue the conversation, like you say, so that people could become far more aware and sensitive about the topic. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ms. Michelle Irving from POA, talking to us about psychological effects on
such
abuse.
An enlightening conversation.
It's such an enlightening conversation. We need to have her back again and continue the conversation, because we have to talk about it. It's not something that we need to deny. We all know that it exists. We know somebody that knows somebody, and yeah, let's keep the conversation and going.
For sure.
But we are completely out of time. So with that, we say thank you to Miss Michelle, and we hope to have you back soon. And with that, we're going to take...
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. We're going to take a short break, and when we get back, Amadea Basketball. Stick around.
Technology is ubiquitous, and it's transforming how, when, and where we work. Fulltech Systems is placing award-winning devices in the hands of information workers, allowing them to work without compromise in a world without wires, to innovate, create, and to maximize productivity anytime, anywhere, satisfying the needs of the desk-centric remote and field worker and every other worker in between. We are providing the industry's best devices to businesses going through the process of digital transformation. Partner with us today to provide the solutions that will allow your employees to work effectively and efficiently to enhance your customers' experience. Fulltech Systems, your technology center, where you'll come for the price, but stay for the service.
Staying connected with your loved ones while traveling is even more important during this global pandemic. With Digi, this is even easier and more convenient with our data roaming plans. Postpaid customers have instant access to mobile data when in 41 destinations worldwide. With 3 affordable plans, starting at only $28, it's easy to instantly connect via your favorite digital platform. To purchase your data roaming plan, contact Digi before your travel date. If you are already abroad, you can contact us via email at digihelp@livedigi.com or via WhatsApp at 608-8888. For more information, visit our website at livedigi.com/digicel or visit a Digi store near you. You can roam, stay safe, and stay connected with Digi.
Dwayne Moody, Isani Cayetano, Marian Ali, Paul Lopez. Your News 5 police teams do whatever it takes. Go wherever they need to go, so you can catch the story wherever you are, whenever you want, on whatever device. Channel 5 believes on television, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, because news is now everywhere, all the time, and so are we.
Whether you're at home, on the road, at work, or at school, if you see news happening or suspect that something might be up, call or text the Channel 5 News Belize tip line at 672-5555. You don't have to give us your name, just give us the tip. That's 672-5555. Call or text us so we can check it out.
And we'll be back in a few, so stay tuned. Thanks, Jen. Hey there, we know you have to head out to work shortly, but don't forget that you can stay tuned by watching us on our Facebook live stream. Find us at Open Your Eyes BC, and you can continue watching there. You can also download Facebook Watch on your streaming device, and you can watch at your own convenience.
And for all the behind-the-scenes fun, follow us on Instagram at OYE Belize. So,
find us
and follow us
today.
When someone you love becomes a memory, the memory becomes a treasure. Channel 5 introduces The Daily Obituaries. The Daily Obituaries will broadcast all death and funeral announcements and memorials to honor your loved one's life and memories. The Daily Obituaries airs on Channel 5 prior to the evening newscast, with subsequent repeats at 10 p.m. and 12 noon the following day. It will also be placed online on our social media platforms, all for a standard package fee. Celebrate their lives and memories with Channel 5's Daily Obituaries. Honor in life and reverence in death.
Reduce your risk of viral illness like the flu or the coronavirus. Wash your hands frequently with soap and water or with an alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Cover your nose and mouth when coughing or sneezing with a tissue. Throw away, then wash hands immediately. Avoid close contact with anyone who has the cold or flu-like symptoms. If you become ill, please visit your doctor or nearest health center and share your travel history. A health and wellness message from your Ministry of Health.
All right, welcome back to our second segment for this morning. We're here to talk about basketball and mental health awareness. Do they go together? They go together over there at the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat Belize. And so we have in studios with us husband and wife, Mr. Arslan Warak, and his wife, Miss Maham Warak. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning as well. Thank you for having us.
Of course, it's a pleasure always to have you guys with us on set.
I want you guys to continue your basketball conversation.
Well, that's exactly what we're going to get into.
Camera, Paul and Mr. Arslan were going off about basketball, and I kind of I was intrigued.
Do you play? Do you play?
Yeah, I do play, but over here we see that for us to go and play, it doesn't have that same effect as us actually going and organizing, right?
Okay.
Right. So we do go play regularly, but we feel like there's more to basketball than just playing, right?
Yeah.
And because of that, now the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat has actually grown so much in just 7 years. 7 years ago, 7 seasons ago, the Ahmadiyya Jamaat, the Ahmadiyya Basketball League only had 8 teams. And this year, after 7 seasons, we're sitting at 49 teams.
Wow.
600 kids that are benefiting from this league.
So it's 7 seasons in. It's 7 seasons, 7 years?
Well, COVID, right? So COVID caught us, we weren't able to do it in the year of COVID, but besides that, every year we've been going.
I remembered when the league started. I remembered when it began. I worked with youths in my community in Belmopan. And I remember the buzz. I remember the conversation when people were saying, "You hear about this league?" And then you guys are touring the country.
Yes.
So it was amazing, and you guys continue to do impressive work with youths and basketball. Tell us a bit about, for those who may not know, a background in terms of the inspiration of hosting such a league.
So the basic idea is that the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat, so we are a religious organization, right? But there's 2 parts to our faith, okay? As Muslims, we are taught that the first aspect is the rights that you owe to God. So that's through prayers and trying to make that connection with God. And the second thing, and you can't achieve the first without the second. And the second thing is that the rights that you owe to serving mankind, serving people, right? So we pride ourselves in the work that we do for humanitarian work, right? And when we came here, we realized that a lot of attention is given to soccer, right? There's a lot of funding put into soccer, but there was a huge void for basketball. And the thing is that to tell a child or to tell a youngster that you can't do this evil, don't do crime. It's really tough for someone to be put in that type of situation because they have nothing else to do, right? But when you fill that void and you give them an opportunity to actually take out that energy doing something else, then you're opening a path for them, right? And we've seen that with Ahmadiyya Basketball League, just in 7 years, the difference it has made. Now in this year, we've done so many different things, and just to highlight some of that stuff is that we've started a complete show, displaying the highlights of all the kids. We're doing highlights of interviews of ministers and stuff that are coming, of the players of the game, just to kind of put them in the spotlight. And then we're getting the kids to come out and learn camera work, right? Trying to give them skill building, even commentating, right? So we're getting the youth involved in every aspect that we possibly can. It's not just for us, it's not just basketball.
Yeah,
right?
A lot of these young people, they've become like local celebrities due to this league. I see a lot more young people invested in the craft, in the sport, in the discipline because of the league, because of wanting to be on top. But like you said, going from 8 teams to over 40 teams, did you guys ever imagine it to, obviously there was a void, and a void that was filled, and a void, that demand that was there. Did you guys ever see this coming to this point?
I think whenever you do, you always try to reach for the stars, right? You always try to do something as big as possible. And the thing is that our intention, and everyone who knows the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat knows that we have no desire for personal gain. Our sincere efforts are only to please God and to ensure that these youth have someone there, someone that cares for them, so that they know that they have someone to turn back on. And with this, there's a lot of other projects that we've been able to do because of this. Because now it's as if they feel like they have a family. They have someone that cares for them. And with this, we've started putting up basketball boards and rims, as you guys probably have seen. But it's just that helping people as much as we can with our limited resources, right? But doing the best we can for them, because this is our future,
Now there is a all-star competition that we'll get into, but April, there's also a mental health
Yes,
awareness.
so I mean, you asked the question, does basketball and mental health go together? And I absolutely think it does, because you have said it yourself, the changes that you have seen in the youths have been tremendous, right? I know that your wife, Maham, is the president of the Women's Group Association. Talk to us a little bit about the mental health awareness program and how it was developed.
So the first thing that we did was talk to our ladies here, right? We see people come and they come to our community, and something that we really saw was that a lot of people were dealing with past issues such as domestic abuse, childhood trauma, and they carried it on because they never dealt with it, and that was affecting their relationship, that was affecting their work life, that was affecting their relationship with their children. And because their mental health wasn't proper, their physical health wasn't proper, right? So we realized that was a huge thing that was missing, and a lot of our ladies do need it, and that was definitely the same situation around Belize as well. So we wanted to do something that would benefit the women. So we try to do, we also, Miss Renee Wentz, who's conducting this event, she also did a survey, and she had 13 categories, and she did it in our community. And she realized that these were the top 3-4 things that she should focus on, and that's what the program is. It's like exactly what the ladies wanted. So we're just trying to do different initiatives to benefit the women. We've done previous things in the past, and that's the same thing here, that we wanted to do something for them as well.
Okay, so I see that it's supposed to be like a workshop, right? So how is it just for one day?
Yes.
Okay.
So right now it's for one day, and we were saying that if it's good and like we have, you know, a positive feedback, that in a couple of months later we'll do another, like we'll cover more topics afterwards.
Okay, how did you get in contact with Miss Wentz?
She's actually worked with the Ahmadiyya community before. She worked 4 years ago, and she taught a defense class for 4 weeks with us.
Oh, wow.
So she's worked with us before. So it was just, I guess in COVID, has slowed down a little bit. So we're like slowly opening up. So mental health is definitely needed, especially after COVID, because it's been a hard 2 years for everyone.
What can those in attendance, I would imagine it's a woman, what can those in attendance expect from the event on April 23rd?
Yeah, so Miss Renee Wentz is like hosting the whole thing. She's organized it with the main topics of childhood trauma, domestic abuse, and then she covers depression and anxiety because they go hand in hand. And then she also is going to cover stress management, just to see how to deal with that and how it's practical for, you know, someone who's dealing with it. That's a different situation, but someone who has a family member, someone who has a friend, we're trying to give coping mechanisms for them to help better society. What, you know, as we say that to reform a nation, it starts from home and it starts from the ladies. So we're trying to reform the nation through the ladies in Belize.
Yeah. So I would imagine for you as the president of the Women's Association that this is a passion. You wanting to see this type of help, this type of aid. Why is it important for you to see the women in Belize receive this type of encouragement and help?
So we see that a lot of ladies are very strong, but they're dealing with a lot, and they haven't really gotten don't have the means to, you know, get that treatment done. They don't have the means to educate themselves. They just ignored themselves and sacrificed themselves for their children, and they just have ignored themselves. But that childhood trauma, that domestic abuse is carrying on, and we need to deal with it because we don't want to repeat history. We want people to be able to help their children, to help their siblings, to help other ladies around. So our main goal is just to help each other. So it's not just reforming one person, but it's reforming everyone around us.
Target group in Belize City, is there a group in particular you're targeting?
So we're basically doing all ladies. Everyone is invited. But the reason this was brought up was because I spoke to our local ladies, part of our community, and this was something that was very prevalent in them. So we wanted to focus on them, but then we realized that a lot of people could benefit from it. So we wanted to do an open event for everyone.
Where can we buy tickets?
Okay, so the tickets will be sold at the door. So it's $5 per person.
Okay. So I could just come
Yes,
23rd. I
you
don't
can-
have to purchase before.
Yeah, but we do have a limit of 50 seats.
Okay.
Okay, so get your tickets now.
If you would like to pre-reserve your seat, you can contact me at 615-2648.
615-2648. Where is the event being held?
At Masjid Noor, so 1.5 miles George Price Highway.
All right. Let's jump
back
into
the
basketball just to talk a bit about the All-Star game coming up. This is another event that you guys are hosting. Tell us about this All-Star event.
So like you know now, the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat is going to be super busy this weekend, right?
Yes.
So Saturday you got the mental health awareness program, and then on Sunday you have the show, or the I want to say the huge show that the Ahmadiyya Basketball League will be putting on.
Yeah.
The All-Star game is going to be filled with a lot of hype. There's going to be the three-point contest. There's going to be the dunk-off.
Wow.
There's going to be the skills competition, and then the highlight of it all will be the different categories having their All-Star games. Right?
Okay.
So there's a U15, there's a U18, there's a U22, and then there's an open category. Each category will have their own All-Star game. Through the standings, the players have been picked, right? And we're very excited because we see, we always see it. We see it every week. We see that the talent these guys are putting in, and the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat has had this league run in a lot of different countries. We're in over 200 countries, right?
Wow.
So to see, and I've actually played in the one in Canada,
Yeah.
and you never see the amount of passion that you see here. It's unmatched. These guys are not only just playing on Sunday, but they're practicing regularly. Teams are practicing 3 times a week, you know, and you see that result, and you see that the talent is phenomenal, and you see that even ABS Hard Rock, they just recently went to what's it called? They went to Mexico just recently and they came back victorious, right?
Yeah.
That's that practice, that passion that they're doing, and if you look at the scores, they destroyed everyone, right? So it's very nice to see that you know, and I feel like it's our job as a nation to want to take that to the next step. Right, so the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat is trying to do their part in
This,
you know,
taking
that step. So
first All-Star game, is it? So what can be expected from some of these?
So I don't know if you can see in
we were
the
seeing
highlights.
the highlights.
Yes, the highlight.
So I know. I'm sure you probably know Butch, but what he did last time was he jumped over his wife and child. Wow! Right? He jumped. they were all safe. They're all safe. But there's a lot of talent, and there's going to be. It's not something that you want to miss. It's happening at the Mexico Center.
Yes.
Right.
It's a $2 entrance.
It's $2 entrance fee. Yeah, and that's one bottle of coconut water, right?
I wanted to ask about, because we're trying to make that connection with basketball and mental health, and you know, these boys, they sign up. You gave them another option, another opportunity to do something better with their lives. What has the response been from their community and their family members? Do they come out? Do they support? Do they come and watch?
So right in the beginning when we started the league, because of COVID restrictions, it was a little bit tough. So the amount of players, you know, you could bring in because of restrictions was very limited. But now that has been lifted, you see that the gym is packed, and it's something really special happening, right? And you said in regards to how it's helping the community. So we're trying to do our part, you know, and you can only do so much. So this is an example for everyone else to feed off of, right? But something that we're doing special this year is that there's community service, that every team is required to do mandatory community service, right? So it's because it's more than basketball, you know, and I feel like sports is an avenue where you learn so much, right? So this is kind of the idea of what we're trying to do here.
So it's at the Mexico Center, Sunday, right after the mental health program on Saturday, from 9 to 4. So it's all day. Different teams. How many teams?
So it's going to be the competitions in the beginning, right? And then there's going to be the 4 games.
Yes.
So each category will have an all-star.
Yeah, I think y'all should begin to consider a celebrity game. That's
what Paul wanted. Paul wanted to watch the mayor play basketball.
Some Belizean known faces, some ministers.
You think about the National All-Star where you see like different
part that NEAB did that. But anyways, that's another conversation.
Definitely.
We want to thank you both for coming in and telling us about these events. Thanks. Such a power couple, both of you, I must say. But apart from that, you both are doing, and the Muslim community is doing amazing work in Belize. And so congratulations. Any final thoughts from both of you?
We would just like to thank you for having us. We really appreciate it, and please do attend our event.
I think 50 seats is gonna go very quickly. I mean, like I told you before we came on, that your other event was a success. I couldn't even get another henna because the line was so long. So you know, thank you both so much. And any final thoughts for the basketball?
Well, honestly, just thank you so much for having us, and it's always a pleasure coming here. And you guys are doing great work, so it's always a pleasure to sit with you guys.
All right,
Thank you so much.
so with that, we'll take another break, and when we come back, we have Shekar Indian Restaurant. He'll be preparing a classical Indian lunch for us. You don't want to miss
2 weeks in a row.
Yes.
2 weeks in a row. Last week we had Indian Thursday. This week we have Indian. I like it.
You don't want to miss that. Stay tuned.
With eCash, bill payment is extremely convenient, and all utility companies accept eCash payments. What's even better? you get to split bills with your roommates, siblings, or whoever you desire. Simply open your eCash app, go to Bill Pay, tap the respective utility company, enter the information, and pay the bill. Then tap the transaction made. Tap Split the Bill. Select Evenly. Send the request to who you are splitting the bill with, and get notified when they pay. Talk about making life easy and avoiding confusion. You can split the bill for restaurants, grocery stores, and for any eCash payment you make. To find your next yummy meal, hair treatment, or chill spot, simply open the app and utilize the geolocation service to see nearby businesses that accept eCash. Geolocation and bill payment make life a whole lot easier.
Single-use plastics. As the name suggests, these are any plastic products that were intended to be used only once before being thrown away. Some examples of single-use plastics are plastic knives, forks and spoons, plastic straws, plastic bags, and styrofoam containers, styrofoam trays, cups, and plates. These are especially harmful to the environment because it makes up about 80% of the garbage in the oceans and kills 100,000 marine animals each year. Click on the link below to see what you can do to help end the nightmare of single-use plastics. I'm Alison Castillo, and now you know.
Download the SmartStream app on the Android Play Store and create your account to get access to movies and stream at home or on the go. Prepaid customers can purchase regular data packages or get a discounted rate on a special SmartStream package by dialing 7737. Postpaid customers will be billed monthly. Never miss a movie again with SmartStream.
Dwayne Moody, Isani Cayetano, Marian Ali, Paul Lopez. Your News 5 police teams do whatever it takes, go wherever they need to go, so you can catch the story wherever you are, whenever you want, on whatever device. Channel 5 believes on television, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, because news is now everywhere, all the time, and so are we.
Whether you're at home, on the road, at work, or at school, if you see news happening or suspect that something might be up, call or text the Channel 5 News Belize tip line at 672-5555. You don't have to give us your name, just give us the tip. That's 672-5555. Call or text us so we can check it out.
When someone you love becomes a memory, the memory becomes a treasure. Channel 5 introduces the Daily Obituaries. The Daily Obituaries will broadcast all death and funeral announcements and memorials to honor your loved one's life and memories. The Daily Obituaries airs on Channel 5 prior to the evening newscast, with subsequent repeats at 10 p.m. and 12 noon the following day. It will also be placed online on our social media platforms, all for a standard package fee. Celebrate their lives and memories with Channel 5's Daily Obituaries. Honor in life and reverence in death.
And we'll be back in a few, so stay tuned. Thanks, Jen. Hey there, we know you have to head out to work shortly, but don't forget that you can stay tuned by watching us on our Facebook live stream. Find us at Open Your Eyes BC, and you can continue watching there. You can also download Facebook Watch on your streaming device, and you can watch at your own convenience.
And for all the behind-the-scenes fun, follow us on Instagram at OYE Belize. So,
find us
and follow us
today.
Reduce your risk of viral illness like the flu or the coronavirus. Wash your hands frequently with soap and water or with an alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Cover your nose and mouth when coughing or sneezing with a tissue. Throw away, then wash hands immediately. Avoid close contact with anyone who has the cold or flu-like symptoms. If you become ill, please visit your doctor or nearest health center and share your travel history. A health and wellness message from your Ministry of Health.
And we are back with our final segment for this morning. And if you can't tell, Paul and I are very excited. In studio with us, we have Shekhar from the Shekhar Indian Restaurant. And he's going to prepare us an
Chicken
Indian
handi.
Chicken
handi.
handi. Well, Shekhar, good morning.
Good morning.
I think,
Vanakkam.
thank
Namaste.
you.
Yes.
Most Belmopanese
Yes.
are very familiar with you, and they're very familiar with your restaurant there at the Belmopan Market.
Yes.
If you ever desire to get a full Indian cuisine experience,
Yes, sir.
Shekhar Indian Restaurant is the place to be.
Yes.
Let's talk a bit about how business is going right now.
Business, since I came last time, after pandemic, I came to Channel 5. People get to know, who doesn't know about it, they pick up the business now, start to get to know where I am, and they doesn't know before what is Indian food, where is it location. Since I came to Channel 5, I get more customers, and they told me I saw you in Channel 5, and so that's make me more interested to do more, try my best more things.
You're definitely passionate about food and Indian cuisine. It shows in all that you do. You don't just serve people food, but it appears as if you want to give people the experience, and that's one of the things we appreciate here at Open Your Eyes about you, and perhaps that's one of the reasons why we brought you back, except for the fact that you make good food, and we just want to try your food. So what is it that you have for us today?
Today I'm going to make a chicken handi.
Chicken
handi. Handi, that's like a traditional.
Is it chicken hand?
No, like a handi. H-A-N-D-I.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a traditional. The chicken breast cooked with clay pot and slow flame. That's called,
So where do we start?
Yes, there's so many beautiful colors on the table.
I have red chili here, cumin seed, black pepper, garam masala, and yellow ginger, turmeric, and I have a coriander powder, cilantro powder, some dry methi, kasuri methi, and this is a yogurt.
Wow.
Yeah, this is a fresh cream.
Okay.
And some chopped up onion and tomato,
Yes,
green chili.
your spices, do you source them locally?
Like I bought it from here, Belize City. Yeah, Belize City. Yes.
All right. So where do we begin?
Start?
I'll start with this.
All right, you turn
the stove.
Getting through there?
Oh, yep, you got it.
Good.
Yeah.
Fire in the hole.
Fire.
All right.
So,
so then
that's basically this chicken. We have to fry the chicken first, but we don't have much time and so. And already chicken breast already seasoned. Just this one is just a little bit of yellow ginger and some black pepper, some salt, fried with the oil. So it's ready, cook, easy.
It's a simple process when it comes to the breast.
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
just like that, just yellow ginger, a little bit of yellow ginger, a little bit of salt for taste.
Okay.
So 2 tablespoons of oil.
Tablespoon of oil.
Yeah. And the oil get a little hot. Cumin seed.
So you're gonna wait until that heats up?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
With the oil get a little heat.
Alright.
And
so remind us where you're located in Memopan.
next to the fire station. Way to the back. They have a lot of food stall there, food business. Way to the back on the left. Yeah, way to the back. Yeah, next to the fire station.
What are some of the things on your menu apart from the chicken handy that you
I do a butter chicken, chicken tikka masala, curry chicken, chicken vindaloo, tandoori chicken as well. I don't know what tandoori, but I do tandoori chicken as well. And I have masala, a lot of different varieties. Chili chicken, chicken Manchurian, and I have a lot of varieties of vegetarian as well, vegan, vegetable thali, and I do a lamb, I do shrimp, I do fish, and all different varieties of menu.
What's perhaps one of the popular requests there at your restaurant?
People mostly chicken tikka masala, butter chicken in a chicken, and lamb rogan josh, and lamb masala in a lamb. Chicken, shrimp, curry shrimp, and fish curry and fried fish. Fried fish.
Now, one of the things that must be noted is that your prices are reasonable.
Yeah.
Is that intentional? Do you tend to cater to the budget pocket?
Yes, that's I do a budget like a reasonable. What I get a reasonable price, and I have to be serve for people as well proper way. They know that they can afford. If Indian food means I can afford, they can say it. Anybody can come. They have a price.
I agree.
Yeah, everybody. Yeah, nowadays the pandemic come, everybody have jobless, and so sometimes people want to come $10, $12, $15. Depends on that. Still, I serve them with my love.
Right.
They know that when I don't watch the price, but I give them, make sure they're full.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Cumin seed,
cumin
quarter teaspoon of cumin seed, going there, and put some chopped onion.
Ooh, that's hot.
Yeah.
That got hot really fast.
Yes, it did.
So
it's lovely.
Yeah, it's low.
April, the smell, the aroma in here.
I wish you guys at home could be experiencing this with us.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Breakfast on a whole nother level. But this
lunch for
traditionally a lunch.
A lunch dish.
Yeah, lunch dish. A lot of people have different varieties. It's easy to cook.
Yeah.
And it's only these ingredients. Yeah, some of them you can get it black pepper, you can get it coriander powder, you can get it garam masala. Only you need to buy it. Tomato, onion, everything, chicken, everything.
At the market.
Yeah,
Yes.
so everything, yogurt and fresh cream, everything.
So what's the process in terms of where do you want to see the onion get? You want to see it caramelized? How far do we want the onion to?
Onion till get brown.
Brown.
Golden brown.
Okay, so you want a
so that all the
onion.
raw smell will come out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice. And what sides go with this chicken dish?
I bought some basmati rice and way home I just prepared it for 5:30 and some whole wheat roti as well. That goes with both of them. So I bought it.
We have been advised not to eat before you take a picture.
I expect you long time,
Yes.
brother Lopez. You don't came already my place
Yes,
called Lopez, but
I've
I
come.
didn't see you yet.
I don't
Hope
tell you,
you
they
come.
don't bring me.
Wow.
They don't like hear me.
Oh, real?
Yeah, I don't like hear me, please.
I've been there. We had the tea.
Samosa and masala tea,
Right.
chai tea.
Chai tea, we've had the chai tea.
heard the
but
chai
I
tea
mean,
is good.
apart from that, like I said, it's just the experience.
Yeah.
You go there, you sit down, you kind of have a little bit of privacy.
Because it's way to the back
Yeah, way to the
in the
back.
market. So
Yeah,
it's in
in
the
the
market
market,
space.
yeah.
And I would imagine now, especially now that everything is back online, back in person, that there is that traffic again of people hustle and bustle within the market
Yeah,
area.
they could call me and they could give me an order. I could drop it by the roadside if you can.
Okay.
Park the vehicle, they could come call me and I could drop it by the roadside.
Do you do
Yeah.
do you do catering?
I do catering as well. I do
Okay.
a lot of catering, yeah.
So people call you and like weddings and
Yes,
and
I can do
events.
that. I can do that.
You can do that.
Yeah, I
as
can
well.
do that.
Well,
I'll do that. I used to do it. I went all the way to Corozal, some
Okay.
birthday party and some places, yeah.
Now, I know you're preparing Indian cuisine, but I have to ask: do you
Yeah.
have any favorite local dishes? The Mestizo community, the Creole community. Do you have any favorite local dishes?
Rice and beans. I like rice and beans.
You like
I
your
love
rice and
escabeche.
beans?
Yes, yes, escabeche as well.
If he hungry for something,
Yeah,
else,
sometimes
he
I
definitely
feel,
could go get rice
sometimes
and
I feel there's something different. I always support my Belizean
Yes.
people
I like
vendors as well. I love Belizean food as well.
Okay.
Rice and beans.
Rice and beans and soup, chicken soup and all.
How long have you been?
This onion is
Go ahead.
like
yeah.
brown.
Yeah. Let's continue the process.
Tomato, one large onion.
One large onion.
Yeah, 3 to 4 small tomato. Yeah. And 500 gram. I mean 1 pound chicken breast.
1 pound.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at the simplicity
Yeah.
of this dish, April. I'm just thinking that
We could
basically
get all of this.
anybody could do this. Like I could, if I have the motivation, I could get in the kitchen and actually prepare something like this.
Yes,
Yeah.
because really what sets this apart are the spices.
Yes.
Right, the coriander, the cayenne pepper, the black pepper, the curry.
You have
I
cream,
still can't
yogurt.
remember the name of this.
Methi leaves.
Methi. Is that a
kasuri
source in
methi
Belize
leaves.
as well?
Yeah, no, I get it from Indian store.
Yeah, it's not.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, this isn't. It smells like chamomile tea.
Yeah, like a dry, how I could call it.
I
like
thought it was like a bay leaf kind of thing.
Oh.
dry leaf, some kind of
Yeah.
similar
Okay.
to that.
Yeah.
It smells good.
It's potent.
Yeah.
It's very potent. Yeah. So how long have you been cooking and as a chef and preparing?
Going to be
Indian
13 years in Belmopan.
13 years
13
in
years in
Belize.
Belmopan. And
Okay.
no, Belize going to be a 15 to 16 years.
15 to 16
Yeah,
years.
15
Is
to
that how
16
long
years.
you move over to Belize? How long have you been living in Belize?
Like 15.
15 years.
complete, yeah.
So when you came, you began cooking. When you came, were you cooking?
I know basic things from my father.
Yeah.
He have a restaurant in India as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah. But these dishes in India, I would imagine they're common.
Yeah.
Like this is a day-to-day thing in India versus when you come to Belize and people aren't too familiar with what you have here.
yes.
Yeah.
They do have
All right. So how is it? Tomato.
tomato till get soft.
onion,
Yeah. Till get
And
soft.
the cumin seed.
Smells lovely.
Smells so good. I wish you guys could smell this. I'm very. I just. I don't want to touch the process because
Yeah,
I want
sure.
to be able to
Of course.
eat. Okay. And then after this is done, what do we add?
So we have to add some a quarter teaspoon of salt.
Okay.
You have everything
You
measured
done
out.
measure it all out.
Yeah. Quarter teaspoon of salt and mix it well.
No, it's the fact that he has things measured out here, Bill, because in a Belizean kitchen, you say quarter teaspoon of salt, and you will pick it and say,
Like, this is how I feel it, this is the feeling.
This feel like quarter teaspoon, and then you dash
Yeah, I do that too, but
You
the
do
people
that
here,
too?
yeah, I don't measure it. Basically, when I cook, I don't measure it,
You-
but the
you
people
get a
have to
feel
know.
for it.
If somebody want to try it, they want to know measuring how much more or less. So
Then you give
I
them-
usually do it just like that.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah. So add some coriander powder. That's like a half teaspoon.
And what happens is, as you continue to add the spices,
Yeah,
the
they
aroma,
cook along with it.
yeah.
Yeah.
and even the
So
color changes.
Yes.
quarter or half depends how you like, how much chicken is there.
I love
half
curry.
teaspoon, yeah, yellow ginger
That's the
powder.
curry. Oh, that's the
Yellow ginger, yeah.
Yellow
turmeric,
ginger.
turmeric, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
And add some red chili powder. Same thing how you want to spice it. That's some people not really like. This I
So
put
that's
like a
the-
half
that adds
teaspoon.
the spice.
Yeah, this half teaspoon I put. Some people
Okay.
can put quarter. You know, sometimes
Depends
the
on
kids
how
want to
spicy
eat
you
it.
want it.
The kids don't want to eat it. They know how to put too much pepper.
So this
yeah.
is a typical dish that is on your menu that you can get anytime.
Yeah,
at
you could
Shikar.
get it. Yeah, you could get this one. Today I do it easiest one. So because it has we have a timings,
Yeah, of
and
course.
so
Of
I
course, of
try to
course.
easy, and
Yeah.
everybody can do it. And when they want to eat something Indian dish, easy to cook this
Easy
one.
can also mean tasty.
Yes,
like
of course.
For example, this.
You will know when I give it to you. You will know.
I can't wait.
Can't wait. We
So
are
you
just
need to finish this dish.
Now we have to add some chicken, cooked already.
Okay.
Yeah, so I had some chicken here.
Yeah, it's everything just starting to come together now.
I'm very, very happy.
I'm
with
sure
this.
those at home are jealous of us right now. They're looking at this dish like, man, that looks
I think
so
my
good.
man texted me right now, asked me for bringing us some home.
Yeah.
It's okay. I'll have lunch
Yeah.
for breakfast. Oh, you that cayenne, that pepper, definitely. You smell that. All right. Okay.
Now-
So for those at home that would like to order Shekar, how can they contact you?
My number 626-5486.
65.
And your opening hours?
8 to 8:30 in the morning till 6:30. If anybody want food in the evening, they have to call me like 4 to 5 o'clock before, so I can be there like 7:30.
So
In
8:30,
Belmopan
do you have
is like after 5 kind of
Yeah.
little
And everything
slow.
closed.
Yeah, everything closed, so not much
Belmopan got
people.
sleep
Yeah.
early, so that's just how Belmopan is.
I'm good with that.
So add some
Yeah,
yogurt.
this is where it
This
gets
is the yogurt.
interesting for me.
2 tablespoons
What
of yogurt.
kind of yogurt? Just plain?
Plain yogurt. Plain yogurt. Yeah, plain yogurt.
Yeah, just adding the yogurt. But what does the yogurt do for it? What like in terms
give a
of
creamy
flavor?
taste. Creamy
Yeah.
taste, and like a more soft and
it's not
not
a
really
dry
give you
dish.
like a spicy, too spicy. We put add some cayenne pepper, not really.
Okay.
You said you open 8:30, so that means you serve breakfast?
No.
You don't serve breakfast?
No, I don't serve because breakfast, the people they don't know much about the Indian one,
breakfast.
samosa and stuff like that. And
But
there's a lot of vendors there as well around.
But
They
the
want even
samosa,
variety.
I mean the samosas are amazing. Like if I could have that for breakfast as an option 2 to 3 times a week,
Yeah.
I'd definitely go.
But then he's also right,
You can
because
add some water, like about 50 ml water.
He's right though, because in Belmopan, he's right in the smack of the market where
Tacos.
Yeah.
Tacos,
So
burritos,
cover it a little bit,
tamales,
2 to 3
all of
minutes.
that.
Yeah.
Okay, so
And
we
so
let it
that
simmer.
will
Yeah.
steam right there and
Yeah,
cook.
steam right there.
Okay.
Simmer. Nice. And how long do you leave it to simmer?
Like 2 to 3 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
Because the chicken already cooked, right?
Yes.
So only that how to the seasoning.
So if you had it with the raw chicken, how long would it have?
Oh, like a 5 to
5 to
4 to
6?
5, 6
Okay.
minutes. Yeah. Because we have to, what we got to do, put some oil, 2 tablespoon oil, put some chicken, and little bit salt for taste, and some of them yellow ginger if you want, chili powder, black pepper, little bit fried up.
I
Chicken
would
breast won't take too long, so
yeah. I would imagine most of your dishes that you prepare them fresh.
Yeah.
Like when people come and order,
Already
one of the
they
things
know that
I see.
I always-
That's one because you have an open concept kitchen.
Yeah,
where
they
you
could see it, what I'm
you
doing.
could actually
Yeah.
see
You're
that,
right.
that you know they pull something from under
No,
the
no, no,
table.
no, no, no.
And-
My kitchen is open. They
Yes.
know what's going on.
And you prepare things
in front of them.
So that's they just do the
That's an
samosas.
egg rice.
That's
like
egg rice.
fried
yeah,
rice?
No,
Wow.
fried rice. Curry rice. I could call it curry rice. Egg
So
fried
that's
rice,
the
yeah.
only thing you get on the menu.
Yeah.
That's the
Samosas right there,
Is
yeah.
it veggies? What
Veg
is it?
samosas.
Veg.
Mostly
The
I serve for the
potatoes.
vegetarian samosas a lot.
Look at you.
No, it's delicious. I remembered it the time when we visited.
Yeah.
And do you have this experience where you could get like a variety of options on the table with your roti?
Sure.
That's another experience right there.
So you're on holiday, right?
I mean,
All right.
I
I was to say, so now you just have to
I
make
might
sure we
just
get
eat
that
I
shekar.
might just eat a Belmopan tomorrow, coincidentally, by chance, and I have to stop.
So if he reaches and he doesn't tell me, you have to tell me that.
You have to leave me a number, and then that's why I will
Yes,
let you
like
know. I
calls
will message
here
you right
without
away. He's
you.
here, out here. Left you, right?
All right, that is
So
simmering.
now we have to add some black pepper, like a quarter.
Okay, one I sneeze.
Black
Give
pepper.
me black pepper.
Really?
What?
And garam masalas here.
And this you said you buy this at the Indian store.
Yeah, this one is the garam masala and this methi.
Okay.
So, and we
When
can
do you
put this
add that?
one.
Yeah, so it's gonna. That's the potent.
Yeah.
flavor
the
there.
bay leaf
Yeah, type.
type flavor.
Oh wow.
That smells really good.
Yes. So when will we add the milk? Is it like a
That's our fresh last one.
Yes. Fresh milk.
But tomato is supposed to cook more softer than this.
Okay.
This
Oh,
flame
okay.
kind of a little slow,
Yeah.
so it'll take a
Yeah.
little time.
You want it
You
as
want the
soft
tomato
as
to be
possible.
soft.
Soft, yeah.
like a
Tomato will give
sauce.
you more gravy, yeah, like nice.
All
Yeah.
right. So I'll eat that.
Well, you give it its time.
When the
do its
stove kind of
thing.
flame kind of high, that will get dry, that the chicken will get separate a little bit to the oil. So we could add more water, but right now it's kind of slow, stove kind of slow, so we have the oil, water still there, we don't need to add water.
Okay.
So when they cook a little bit more, like 2 to 3 minutes, we could add the fresh cream.
So how
And-
often do you prepare this dish? Is this something you prepare on a regular?
Yeah, people most of the time they order it, they doesn't know, they say just call it as a curry. They don't know what exactly name.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
mostly
they just think
Belize,
of this as a curry, another
Belize
curry
mostly what I notice, once they see it kind of little yellowish, they call it
They
curry.
call it curry. That's
I
true.
call it curry chicken, I want a curry chicken. But the flavor, different flavor there is.
But you're
So-
educating us here this morning.
Yeah, this
letting
is
know
a,
there's
so
a
you guys know what
distinction.
I'm doing.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's chicken.
So the yellow that you put in is not curry, it's ginger.
Just a ginger. I know it's no curry powder in this. I don't put no curry powder, just a turmeric I use for the color. Yeah, that color come out yellow ginger.
So if I go to Shikar and I don't know what to eat,
I can explain to you.
You'll explain
I have a
it.
menu there. I can explain to you what is exact is there.
but what do you recommend off your menu? What
depends on
do
what-
you like to cook the
Like-
most? You have a favorite
All right.
dish?
What you like? It depends. If you want a chicken, I can give a butter chicken, less spicy. That is similar to this. Similar to this cream and everything. The butter chicken almost same. So I can offer you butter chicken, little sweet
But what
it
does
is.
Shikar recommend? What is the dish that
That's
Shikar
what
likes
you
to
like. The
eat?
chicken or lamb or
I did try, get it out.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If anything what you like, I can recommend good one for you. But depends on lamb or chicken
Okay.
or shrimp or fish, what you like.
When the cameras go off, you'll tell me.
Sure, no problem.
Yeah, but I like the fact that you explain and you take the time out to kind of discuss with your customers what it is
Because
exactly.
basically they are different varieties of food. They doesn't know about it, what goes, or how the taste, and so when they look at the menu, I can understand this or what, I don't know what I could order.
Yeah.
So I explain to them this is the way look, and I show them and all the
Yeah.
seasoning what I'm going to do it.
Of course.
Most of the people now, like a lot of people get to know about Indian food.
Yeah. They're
So they
becoming
know
familiar.
just tell me I want chicken tikka masala, I want lamb masala, I want lamb rogan josh. They know about food, already taste it. So when I started at the beginning, they doesn't know.
Yeah.
So most of the people, they get confused when I write down the big menu. I left it. The
Yes.
people watch hard.
I would imagine
Yeah.
so. Like,
And
all
they
right,
want
what
it.
is this?
this?
What is
Yeah.
this?
This
I
happened to
don't
me
see
a couple
anything
years
else.
ago.
Okay.
I write all my menu. I left it by the shop and restaurant. And when the people look at take long to read it, I don't know what I could order. I don't nothing understand. So they can't.
So,
So
wow.
people one after next they try it. They say this call this name and go buy from him. So most of the people come. I want a butter chicken. I want a chicken tikka masala. I want a samosa. I want this. So now
Because
they
they
know.
know.
So what goes with samosa goes with what chutney they goes with. They know mostly now.
So a big
we are in
part of your
2022.
work. Well, a big part of your work is education as
Yes,
well.
I taught
like
a lot
that-
of people what goes with, and they know what is a
But
food
that's
is
why the
mostly.
concept of the open kitchen is so important, because
Yeah.
even if you explain to them, they can
They can see
actively
it. Yeah, they're
what you're
watching
doing.
what all I
Yes.
put, what they watch. They
Yes,
watch me sometime.
yes.
Yeah. Explain to them as well. Yeah.
Food almost ready.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You can see that tomato now reducing
Yeah.
the way you want it to be reduced.
So now you could add a fresh.
You know that
cream
remind me
here.
of the way he want the tomato to be like, you know how the pileup tomato sauce go with the pickle? That texture, that creamy texture. Oh
I
my
also
gosh.
think
it
when
looks
we
so
make
good.
our own tomato
Add
paste
some fresh
sometimes.
cream.
Oh, that looks good. Diane, come take your picture now.
Because
Now we are eat.
today we feast.
Yes. Wow.
It's like a creamy chicken.
Yeah,
It reminds me of a creamy chicken.
People call it like that too.
Yeah.
How you
But
can
you know,
understand.
we
We
add
add
to it.
curry
This-
creamy chicken.
Yeah, curry
Based on what we're
Mix up
seeing.
curry creamy chicken, and
Yes.
that's
So-
not the name.
Yes.
A little bit more water because
So you want it to have a creamy texture
Yeah.
over
That
the
looks
rice.
so good.
So
You see
like
how
it for like a 2 minutes again, 2 to
Okay.
3 minutes.
Okay.
So after that, just add some. If the kids going to eat, they know how to use the green chili.
Okay.
If the people adult can eat that green chili, just topping a little bit of that, and after that, some of them cilantro, fresh cilantro for the topping. After that's to serve.
Okay.
That's it.
It's amazing how we started with all these separate ingredients, and it's all culminated to get what
That-
we are getting
Yeah.
right now. That's really good.
Do you want to set up your plate?
Yes,
All
sure.
right.
Here, there you go. You could take it out of.
Yeah.
So 3 rotis here. That's a whole wheat roti.
It's 3 plates.
3 plates?
Yeah. One from Miss Marlene.
Oh, definitely. If one thing I know is Marlene loves her Indian cuisine.
And rice is
What do we
here.
have here? Oh,
Basmati
rice.
is here.
That's a nice.
This I bought it from India.
Oh, you bought that from
I
India?
bought it from India. Yeah.
What's special about it?
There's a lunch box. A lunch box.
Oh, it's
containers,
Container
yeah.
you could keep stuff.
It really is a lunch box.
Yeah. Can you same spoon here? I'm
3
sorry.
portions.
Is
Do
a
your thing.
clean spoon is there? Or?
No.
No.
Do your thing. Don't worry. We dip the rice, the pot spoon for the rice in the chicken.
In the beans.
In the beans.
Yeah.
Everything, right?
Yep.
And who had time for 33 spoon?
To wash it all of that afterwards. And nobody like wash dishes in the house, you know.
That's funny.
I like basmati rice. The texture is so different from our rice. That we
I
do
need
for
a
rice
better
and beans.
education on what a basmati rice is.
It's so dry. It's nice. And you see how.
Yeah,
it
what's
is.
the difference between the basmati rice and the regular?
But there is a long rice. This rice like a flavor, give you some nice flavor.
It's all I could see that the
longer-
length
long-
of the
long-
rice is
long
longer.
rice,
What
yes.
causes that?
Like sometime $80 for 10 pound, 10 to 20 pound. I'm not sure what
Okay.
the price right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that this
is
is grown in-
expensive
this
than
is in
regular rice.
Belize?
Not in
No.
Belize. That's
No.
imported
No,
rice.
they-
That's an
they
imported
import
rice.
that. Imported
Imported rice.
You
Yeah.
buy it at the Indian.
And you cook it the same way you cook regular rice?
Yeah, same way,
Yeah.
same way, same way.
But the texture comes out different.
Well,
no
I'm
matter
excited to
what.
try.
Now you could
that
add
rice.
some
Chili. You like
red
spice?
chili.
I love spice.
Okay, good.
No,
you
not
could
really
put
lot.
spice.
Okay, not really put a lot, but stuffing.
I love spice, so you could put spice.
Yeah, sure.
And then cilantro.
Stand on the top.
It's definitely the ending part.
Yeah. Love that. My belly to grow. I don't know about yours, but I'm ready for some. Look at
Because
the
you all have
colors.
I
I
was just
love
about
the
to say,
colors.
Colors coming out.
Look at my happy dance.
Well, I came with my belly in my hand.
Yeah?
Grill with a
Yeah.
sauce.
Oh, yes.
From-
we were prepared
from
for
my
Shakar.
heart.
From your hair, that Shakar to come.
Sure.
We didn't have breakfast. We're ready for
Wow.
this.
Yeah.
That's why I bring extra. So more rice is here. And more roti is here too. I brought it more.
So you basically have put in all the ingredients in there.
Yeah.
And so now it's just to wait a couple.
Yeah, just how to cook together.
Yeah. So it all comes together.
Okay,
I guess
so
that's an important.
One more time, where are you located and how can they contact you?
Brahmapan, Market Square, next to fire station, way to the back.
Way
left
to the back. It's
Yeah,
an
they have a lot of food stuff there.
But you have your sign?
I have my
Yeah,
sign
I
up
think
there.
we have some
yeah.
images of
There
the
it
sign.
is.
Yeah,
There
that
it
same
is.
one over there.
It's so nice.
Yeah.
Nice little outdoor space.
Are you thinking of expanding and coming to
In the
Belize?
future, this is right now is like a couple years ago. Right now,
Yes.
my place is like a more
Yes.
passion fruit. Is
I
fruits
saw
is
that.
there. A lot of
Yeah.
things that a lot of update already did. Like more different than this.
We
for
need
the
a
future.
Shakar Indian restaurant branch in Belize City.
Paul needs you to have
ASAP,
one.
even if it's in the market for us to come, because it's the market concept, you know, April.
Yes, that's true,
It's
because
the
it's
fact
that-
that you could just walk
over.
in the market. That's, I think, what people love also about the experience.
I mean, kind of brag about Belmopan and leave it and just talk about how much variety there is at the market in Belmopan, because Shakar is sitting in a very vibrant, diverse little
Yeah.
community of
Yeah.
Indian,
Indian,
Belizean.
yeah.
I think you have a
In
Nepalese
yeah.
in there somewhere. There is mestizo food. There is Creole food. it's a good spot to be in. And
Yeah.
that's why when you ask Shekar about his favorite Belizean dish, I feel like he done sample
Yeah.
all of those food stalls already.
It's ready to serve now.
Okay, well.
All right. Yes.
There you go.
Yeah.
Garnish.
Garnish.
A little
Diana, come
bit
take a
again.
picture.
Yes, now you can serve.
Serve.
Don't make it cheat nobody, you know.
I know that you know. I used to
have
try
to
help me
pass.
a little bit, friend.
Okay.
Thank you.
And put some gravy a little bit. So.
Right, ma'am. It smells so good. Look at that smoke, that heat coming out. All right. Okay, so
All right.
one more time, the ingredients for the chicken handway.
Okay. Cumin seed, coriander powder, yellow ginger, and garam masala, black pepper, a little bit of black pepper, and methi, and salt for taste, and chili powder. That's all.
All right, so
Yeah.
so we'll sample just a bit so we
Go
could give
ahead.
a reaction on set, and then we'll have our.
Sure.
I tried, Danny. I tried, right?
I mean,
He's
the
not
public-
letting me,
The
right?
public has to know. They have
They
to.
have to
find
know.
out.
You're right.
So-
They have to see the reaction of our faces. But it's
So how
hot.
My
would
pleasure
you?
to cook and serve for you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you too. Enjoy well.
That's all.
Sorry.
That whole
Since you tell me you know eat no breakfast, so taste it and let me know.
he made extra because we don't eat breakfast. Okay. The chicken. We were told to eat this with our hands when we can. Yeah? Wow.
It's hot, very hot.
That's amazing.
But you could taste every single one
of the
of
flavor.
the flavors of the spices that you put in there. You don't miss a single flavor out. Shekar, thank you so much for
Thank
coming.
you. Thank you so
We
much.
love to
Thank
have
you.
you.
Thank you.
Belmopan Shekar Indian Restaurant, located in Belmopan Market, number
626-5486.
That's
486.
spice.
Yeah.
He does catering. Get all of your Indian cuisine at Shekar. It's wonderful.
The spice.
Thank
We'll
you
take a
so
short
much.
break and
Thank
we'll
you
come
so
back
much.
for wrap up. Stay tuned.
Thank you.
Download the SmartStream app on the Android Play Store and create your account to get access to movies and stream at home or on the go. Prepaid customers can purchase regular data packages or get a discounted rate on a special SmartStream package by dialing 7737. Postpaid customers will be billed monthly. Never miss a movie again with SmartStream.
Hi everyone, my name is Gabriela and my name is Kieran. Today we're going to be learning how to put on makeup.
Connecting people, creating memories, sharing a smile. Next Gen, the ultimate digital experience.
Your life just got a lot less complicated with Belize Bank Contactless MasterCard Debit Card. Introducing our Standard Debit and MasterCard Platinum Debit Cards. Now you can make purchases anywhere MasterCard is accepted with one tap, pay and go. Your contactless card never has to leave your hands, especially in these times. And your card is embedded with multiple layers of security. Platinum card holders get to enjoy extra benefits like price protection, purchase protection, trip inconvenience, and luggage protection, just to name a few. Start enjoying a cashless lifestyle today with the Belize Bank.
And we are back, and Paul can't speak because he's still to eat. But we want to thank you all so much for tuning in. You're doing your happy dance?
Oh, definitely doing the happy dance.
Perfect. I still have to finish eating mine, but I'll put that over here far away from you because
April,
I feel like you want to eat my food.
Such an amazing show this morning.
It was a very amazing,
We
a
had
very amazing
a very serious conversation to
Yes.
begin with a founding member over there at Power, talking
Miss
about
Michelle
the
Irving.
psychological effects
Right.
of child sexual abuse. And so we want to thank Miss Irving for coming in and enlightening us more on that topic. Definitely
We
a
should
conversation
continue that
we can
conversation. She
continue.
will be back for us to continue that conversation. And of course, our friends over at the Amadea, the Basketball League, mental wellness and health program. They're going to have a packed weekend for all of you. So if you don't have nothing for the Saturday, go on by and listen to Rennie Wentz. She'll give a workshop about mental wellness in the community, how you can talk about your mental health. And then, of course, Sunday, where Paul is going to probably go.
Definitely, the All-Star Games, Amadea All-Star Games. These young men, I'm just always encouraged by their commitment, their discipline, their dedication to the sport. And so, for me, that's what attracts me and that's what draws me to the Amadea
I
League.
love the fact that they are so engaged with the community, you know, and the opportunities and the options that they have given these young guys to do something else with their lives and to do something that they're passionate about. So we hope that you stop in and check out the Basketball League. It's all day on Sunday. And then, of course,
finally, we had our favorite Indian chef, my favorite. I don't want to nobody think Open Your Eyes is biased, but this is definitely my favorite Indian chef from over there at Shakar Indian Restaurant in Belmopan. And you don't want to check out them next to the fire station.
Yes.
If you are in Belmopan, always some amazing dishes, always an amazing experience.
That's it right there. It's not just about the food. It's the entire experience. It has an open kitchen. You can see everything that he makes and serves. So if you have questions about what you're eating, he's always willing to answer you. But you know, we want to continue eating our breakfast. So we are going to say goodbye. Thank you all so much for tuning in. You open your eyes and you start your morning right with us. If you have any questions or concerns, you can always drop us an email at oye@channel5belize.com, or you can catch us on any of our social medias on Facebook at Open Your Eyes BZ. You want to do the Instagram one?
On Instagram, OIE Belize.
Yes. Thank you so much for tuning in. Remember to keep your minds, your eyes,
and your heart open.
Thank you. Have a good day, Belize. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
Open Your Eyes was brought to you by the Belize Bank. Our country, your bank.